Hello, and welcome to Get In We're Going Healing, a place where we talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being to help you become your best, your greatest, your most authentic self by letting go of the baggage that is holding you back. So today we are going to be doing a tarot reading, and today the topic that we are looking into is guidance and advice from your guides. Advice and guidance from your spiritual guides. So we're going to pick 3 piles to do that, and I'm going to use the Ask Your Guides Oracle. All decks that I use will be listed in the description box, just so you know what they are. So we're going to start with the Ask Your Guides deck. And we're going to choose 3 cards. One, 2, and 3. Okay, so for pile number 1, we have discontent. For pile number 2, we have purpose. For pile number 3, we have shame. If you like to pick with crystals, hold on a moment and I'll set those up for you. Okay, so for pile number 1, we have Apophyllite. For pile number 2, we have Rose Quartz. And for pile number 3, we have Selenite. So if you're new to pick a cards, the way that it works is whatever pile calls to you is the pile that there is a message there for you. So you might be called to pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. You might be called to more than one pile. You might be called to all 3 piles. If so, then there is going to be something in the reading that you need to hear, that your guides want you to hear. So whenever you find the pile that calls to you, you can look in the description box for the timestamp. If none of these piles, if you're still unsure, take a look at the timestamps for each of the piles. Maybe your lucky number or your favorite number might be in there, or a synchronicity of numbers you're looking for. So once you've decided which pile you want, click on the number and I will see you there. Okay, if you chose Apophyllite and the discontent card for pile number 1, this is your reading. All right, so let's begin with the discontent card. Okay, you know what? Hold. This generally means that there's something in your life that you are unhappy with that needs to change, but I want to look at the book for further guidance on this. So let me just give my impressions first of what I see here in this card, okay? So what I see here are there are dancers in the background, all back here, and there's a mask here, like the mask of a play. And we've got a harp. Music could be connection to angels. Okay, we've got these little angel babies maybe down here at the bottom, and then there's all this wispy stuff here. That could be a bird there maybe. Yeah, maybe a bird. Okay, so let's have a look in the guidebook to get some information on that. All right. Dissatisfaction, seeking, searching conclusions. Sooner or later in our evolutionary process, each of us begins to realize that it's not the having that fulfills our soul, but rather it's the act of creating that brings us satisfaction. Contentment in what we've created, no matter how grand, inevitably subsides, and our creative juices once again long to flow. That's why the once ideal partner ceases to mesmerize, the perfect job eventually becomes mundane, and the great adventure becomes tedious. Though there's a lot to be said for enjoying what we have now, we must nevertheless respect the fact that our basic nature as creative beings is to create. Without the process, we can't be fully content, at least not for long. Your muses are present, and they call on you now to embrace your creative discontent and undertake new projects. Their message: see your frustration as a longing to learn more, expand more, dare more, and create more. Well, that is a beautiful message. And it is something that I personally find to be truth as well. I found this in my career as a massage therapist. I found when I started to feel discontent with my career as it was and the job description, it usually meant that it was time for me to take a continuing education course and take another course, learn another type of massage, another way to apply it that makes me look at the field from a fresher, newer perspective. It allowed me to be more creative in my field and creative in how I solve problems with people's bodies by just taking a new course that gives me a new perspective. So you might find the same thing. You might need to be looking into a course to further education, maybe if your discontent is in a workplace. If your discontent is in a relationship, it might be a time for you to look at new ways to freshen the relationship and look at it from a different perspective. This could be something, this could be discontentment with anything. But the point in it is when we get stuck in stagnancy, even if we've earned our space of calm and complacency because we've put in a lot of work, we're not meant to stay there. We're not meant to stay in those achievements and then stay there forever. We're meant to continue growing, continue moving, continue looking for the next thing. That's not to say we're always rushing for the next thing, but we should be. Once we're done something, we should be looking to continue and to challenge and to continue creating. So if you're finding that you're discontented right now, your guides are giving you the advice to create more, make more, do more, be more content, present in your life. Look at things from a different perspective, add a new skill, and allow yourself to open and expand in creativity, and that will bring contentment to you. Okay? So let's see. Inner guides of pile number 1. Where do you want me to take messages from? And my eyes fell on the Energy Oracle deck. So I guess we're going to go with the Energy Oracle deck. Now, usually with this deck, I rapid fire the messages all together to see what messages need to come out in that way. Okay. And then we'll get some clarifiers. All right. Inner guides of pile number 1. What do they need to hear right now, please? Thank you. Letting go of attachments, letting go of the attachment of how you think things are supposed to happen. Let go of how you think it's supposed to happen. Allow the freedom of it to come. Trust in your intuition, trust in your inner knowing, trust your gut. What we know about trusting our gut is that our gut is connected to our intuition, and those are connected to our vagal nerve, to our vagus nerve, our 10th cranial nerve. And the 10th cranial nerve of the vagus nerve is responsible for your fight or flight response. It's responsible for your digestion. It's responsible for different things that are happening inside your decision making. When we are in a space of calm and knowing, when our nervous system is in a state of calm rather than worked up, our vagal nerve is calm. And when our vagal nerve is calm, our gut makes more sense. Trusting our gut makes more sense. Trusting our intuition makes more sense. So at this time, you might be being advised by your inner guides to maybe check into how you're eating, how your gut feels, what your intuitive gut feelings say. Trust in your inner knowing and your inner guidance. Know when your spidey sense, I call it, when your spidey sense is tingling, trust your spidey sense. Even if it doesn't make sense in the moment, trust your spidey sense. It's never off. Okay? You're being told that right now you're in a space of looking at things and wishing that you were in a different situation. You're looking at your situation and saying, I wish I was over there. I wish I had this. I want this. I would rather have this. The situation I'm in is not good enough. I would rather it be this. And our advice when it comes to envy is always the same. Find the gratitude for where you are. Because where you are right now, there was a past version of you who was where you are, who was wishing to be where you are now. And you're where you are now and you're not appreciating it. That's the letting go of attachment. Letting go of attachment to looking for something newer. Take a moment to enjoy the blessings that you already have rather than looking towards what you could have, longing, because envy is also longing. You are longing for something else, longing for something different. And sometimes that's good. Moving forward, wanting something different than what we have and making a change towards that. But if we're only looking at wishing we had something different than what we have, and it's only in the state of wishing and we aren't willing to act on it to make that a reality, then that's where it becomes problematic, when we're disappointed with where we are in our current situations and would rather be focused on where we'd like to be, but make no changes to get ourselves there. So your inner guides are advising you, your spiritual guides are advising you not to get caught up in wishing without knowing, because you've been told, let go of your attachment, trust your inner knowing, and be cautious about wanting and longing for things that you don't have, because the door to spirit is open. Your connection to source is open. But when you're stuck in a space of blocking your sense of receiving, with your, and as I'm saying that, I'm feeling that myself in the blocked solar plexus, or the blocked sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is our place of, it's also a place of intuition, our gut. As I mentioned before, our gut, our intuition, when our sacral chakra is closed off, our connection to self, our intimacy space, when it's closed, then it's difficult for us to trust our inner knowing. And it's difficult for us to have these caring connections. So as we open up to spirit, as you open up to the guidance of your spiritual team, as you open up to what they want to share with you, this will allow your energy to move better through your sacral chakra, clear out that blockage in your sacral chakra, and that will open you up to better caring connections. With strategy in the reverse, it's saying let go and surrender. Don't have a plan. You don't need to plan for this. You need to let go. Goes back to our first card of attachment, releasing attachment to how you expect it to go. Let go of trying to control what the outcome is going to be. Let go of trying to control how you get to that outcome, but rather allow source to bring it to you. Allow door to spirit to be open. Allow your connection to your spiritual team, to your inner guides. Allow your connection to open up your ability to connect and to feel intimate with yourself and with other people, and to allow yourself to be vulnerable. That will allow your caring connections to be bigger and grander and greater, but you have to let go of trying to figure it out. You can't logic your way out of feelings. You have to feel the feelings. There's no other way. You must feel the feelings. They're feelings. If they were thinkings, they would be thinkings. They're not thinkings, they're feelings. And the way through feelings is to feel the feeling, not to think about the feeling. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense for you. All right, so we're going to go to Light Seer's Tarot. We're going to go to the Light Seer's Tarot. So guides of pile number 1, looking for any further guidance and information for them, please. Do you have anything else you want to share with them as they learn to release discontent? They really learn to release their attachment to how they want it to go. They let go of being in longing, of being stuck in wanting something to be a certain way, and instead learning to surrender to the universal energies, learning to surrender control of other people. What else do they need to know, please? All right, yeah. 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 Okay. So, with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the Emperor upright, the King of Cups reverse, the Wheel reverse, and the Hanged Man upright. So this message says, things are out of balance with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Okay, so things are stagnant. Things are not growing. The Ace of Pentacles is a new physical things. Could be money, doesn't have to be money, just physical, tangible things in the material world. Ace of Pentacles in reverse is stagnancy. It's not growth. Coming into the Emperor is the Emperor. The Emperor is strong, assertive, but the Emperor can also be stubborn. The Emperor has a tendency to think that he knows all the things and therefore is unwilling at times to listen to the guidance of those around them. Look at our image here, right? He's got the chess piece of the king, right? Sitting here very composed, right? With Mars behind him, strong masculine energy with Mars. This doesn't necessarily mean it might not be you. This could be just masculine energy. This is the divine masculine in his strength. However, with the King of Cups in reverse, the King of Cups is healing. The King of Cups is being in your heart space. Look at where the light's emanating from his heart space, extending out with a crown. Knowing your heart and your head are connected. Your emotions, your heart isn't leading your logic mind, but your logic mind isn't overruling your heart. Head and heart are in conjunction with each other. We have that in reverse, which is saying this Emperor is not leading from head and heart space. This Emperor, this leadership energy that is stuck and stagnant, is stuck and stagnant because the healing is not complete. The healing that needs to be moved through is not complete. The head and the heart are still not communicating with each other. The head is trying to run things. With it in reverse, the head is trying to run things and not giving the heart the space that it needs to give guidance and doesn't trust the heart. But with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune is destiny. It's destined to change. And with the Wheel of Fortune, the two cards you got is that perspective is changing, okay? Because the Wheel of Fortune, in this, it reminds us everything is moving in a spiral. We're always moving up in a spiral. If this is resonating with you, you might want to check out the more recent podcast that I uploaded talking about the path, talking about trusting the process and what the spiral looks like and what that means as you go through each different trigger that you have, each different wound that you have, and you'll pass it over and over and over and over and over, but you'll pass it from a different perspective each time, and you'll be able to glean something more from it and look at the situation a little bit differently each time you pass through it until you no longer pass through it. This is what you're seeing in here in the wheel, is this spiral. But the wheel also reminds us that destiny takes us up and down. It's balance, right? The black and the white, sky and ground, light and dark. It's balance. Look at her balancing in tree pose on here. It's balance. The wheel is about destiny and balance, that everything that is meant to happen does happen. And when we've got it in reverse, this is saying this is destined to happen and you're on a low point, but the wheel is always turning. So right now you are at the low point of the wheel, but the wheel is turning and you are going to find yourself on the upswing again because it's a change of perspective that moves everything with the Hanged Man. You see this person hanging off of silks, off of a fabric swing, right? Hanging upside down, reaching for the ground, holding their feet. This is a pose you often see with people who enjoy acrobatic silks, aerial yoga. And you see that the light is emanating from above the head, not from the third eye, even though she's looking into it. It's emanating from above the head, which is the knowing, the connection to source, the connection to divinity, the connection to your higher self, your spiritual team, your inner guides, connection to your inner knowing. And we've got it upright. So this is saying that this stagnancy that is happening is due to a stubbornness of being unwilling to listen to how your heart is trying to respond to your head. But this will change for you as you change how you see it, as you change the approach that you bring to it, okay? We're just going to ask for one more message here, please. For our pile number 1 from Inner Guides, what is the advice for our pile number 1? The Inner Guides. Any final piece of advice? I already see a few things I think that they're going to come out with. I saw something about the ego mind running things. I saw something about turning inward. Difficulty making a choice. But things are coming to an awareness and not listening to the inner voice. Okay. So 2 of Swords. In this deck, this is the Osho Zen deck. And in this deck, the 2 of Swords is called schizophrenia. And the card talks about, now swords are always the way we think about things. It's how our intellect is. It's what we think when we do things. And this card is saying that you're going to fall no matter what. The only decision that you have to make is whether you're going to let go with your hands or your feet, but you're going to fall. The falling is happening. There is no decision around it. There's nothing that can be done about it. The only decision you have in front of you is which side you're going to let go. It's talking about having a hard time making decisions. Now, we got it in reverse, which is saying that it's going to be easier for you to make choices, but it's in your head. You have to be the one to make the choice. But when you make a choice, it's going to open up your awareness. This is the traditional Chariot card. But in this deck, it shows the young Buddha in the background, and the veil in front of it with the shadow on it is burning away to show the young Buddha behind it. The self that is not you, the self that is the mask, the version of you that is not you, is starting to dissipate, is starting to disappear. And the real you, the real authentic you, I'm getting goosebumps as I say this, the real authentic you is starting to come to the forefront. Okay? You're still not able to really hear your inner voice. With the inner voice in this one, it's called the inner voice, but traditionally this is the High Priestess card. And the High Priestess card, it's all about listening. It's connecting your intuition. The moon is a sign of intuition. Your playfulness, flowing like water, connectivity to the divinity, connectivity to the divine feminine. This is in reverse, saying that you're disconnected to your inner knowing. You're disconnected to your higher self. You're disconnected from your energies, from what your true self wants to say. On the bottom of the deck, we have comparison with the 5 of Swords, because you're trying to compare your journey and who you are to someone else and their journey. But everybody's journey is different. This card shows the oak and the bamboo, and it says, who told the oak that it was more beautiful than a bamboo? Who told the bamboo that it was more sturdy than the oak? Neither is true. The bamboo is the bamboo. The oak is the oak. Comparing the two makes no difference, because the bamboo can never be the oak and the oak can never be the bamboo. They are each their own tree. They're each their own creation. And just in that same way, if you are comparing yourself to someone else, it's just as in vain as the oak comparing itself to the bamboo, because the oak will never be the bamboo and you will never be someone else. Your path is yours, taking you where you need to go through all the trials and tribulations that you personally have been through. Anyone else did not experience every single thing that you experienced that brought you to here. They experienced something completely different. And their takeaway from that thing that was completely different is different than the takeaway that you took from your specific path. So reminding you, as you're changing your perspective, as you're allowing everything to heal, letting go of attachments, trusting your intuition, letting go of longing for something that you don't have, as you're becoming more secure in who you are, it's being aware that everything that you have been through is unique and personal to you. Every experience that you have had is unique and personal to you. No one is going to be able to fix those things for you. No one is going to be able to let go of those things that hurt you. No one is going to be able to make those choices of gratitude for you. but you. You will have to be the one to change how you see it. You will have to be the one to get creative and let go of your discontent. You will have to be the one to let go of your attachment. You will have to be the one to choose to heal through the things that are weighing you down like heavy sandbags. If you want to float like an air balloon, you have to let go of the sandbags. They're keeping you down. And just like we say on this channel, we learn to let go of the things that are holding us back from being our authentic selves. And some of the things you are going to have to let go are going to require you to change your perspective and change how you see things and not be so stubborn. Trust in your guides. Trust in your intuition. Your guides want to help you. That's what they're here for. They want to help you. So let them. Begin to listen to them and see where they can take you. Okay? So pile number 1, I hope that this message reached you and you got something out of this and this helps you along your way. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm so that more people can see these messages that might need to see them. Don't forget to share it if you liked it. And if you wanted to book a personal reading to get more in depth about your individual things, about the issues that you have going on and you want more information, all the information to book a personal reading is in the description box as well. I also accept donations if you feel moved to do so. All that information is also in the description box. And if you'd like to follow me on my social media, all of those things are also available there as well. So until next time, pile number 1, love and light. Bye. Hi, pile number 2s. If you chose the Purpose card and the Rose Quartz, this is your reading. So I'm just going to put the Rose Quartz over here. Let's take a quick look at our card. I'm going to read from the guidebook to get further information. But let's just have a look at what we see on the card first, okay? So what I see here, we see Purpose and Master Teacher. So what I see here is this person walking along their path, pointing in the direction of their path. I see them carrying flowers, which makes me think that they're happy. I see this face in the clouds with stars around it, looking very peaceful. Okay. So I already feel that this is going to be talking about your life purpose from your inner guides, your purpose right now. Just a word on purpose in the Buddhist belief system, in the Buddhist culture, there is a concept called your Dharma. And your Dharma is your divine path. Your Dharma is the path that you are meant to walk to take you where you are divinely meant to be. And when you are walking on your Dharma, when you are walking on your sacred path, your divine path, when you are following what you are meant to be following, you accumulate good karma. People often get the concept of karma incorrect. They think that it's meant to be if you do good things, you get good karma, and you do bad things, you get bad karma, but that's not quite that simple. If you are following your Dharma, your path, your purpose, then you accumulate good karma. If you are not, if you are walking on a path that is opposite of your purpose, you are not following the arrow, you are going in a different direction, you accumulate bad karma. Karma simply is just lessons. It's experiences that are meant to put us back on our path. And if we are taking offshoots on our path, if we are taking detours on our path, it's so that we can learn another lesson that is separate from our main purpose lesson, our main path. Think of it like a side quest in a video game. You learn some type of skill in a side quest. It doesn't move the main quest forward, the main path, but it does give you new skills learned that you can apply on your main path later on down the road, right? So good karma and bad karma isn't necessarily accumulating good or bad. It's about whether or not you are walking on your main path. Your main path might be to intersect with someone and cause them harm, not because you want to cause them harm, but because that is a lesson that they need on their path. We are all intersecting with other people's paths, creating different things on their path, different experiences that they are going to have to, on their path, decide how they're going to respond to it. Just like everyone else around you is causing situations around you, and you are only available to make a decision on how you're going to respond to that stimulus, to that situation. So if you are walking on a path where you are meant to intersect with someone and cause them to have a difficulty in their day, if you try to avoid that, you're going to accumulate negative lessons because you were meant to move that person's lesson forward through the thing that you do. So you can't say that just by doing good or bad things, you accumulate good or bad karma. It's simply about whether or not you are doing things that are in line with the path and purpose that you are meant to be following. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I see a lot in that. So I already got a lot with your guides. I know they wanted to share that because, again, this reading is what do your guides want you to know? And I feel that was definitely something you needed to hear. So we're going to pull some cards from the Energy Oracle deck and see what other information your guides want you to have as we talk about walking your purpose. Actually, you know what? Before I get to that, I am going to read from the guidebook on that card to see if there's anything more that they needed to hear from that. Okay? So we're going to pull that up. All right. You are beginning to stride into your purpose. Work is no longer a struggle, and your master teacher is guiding you along the way. The more aligned you become with your life's proper path, the more your days will flow with ease. You'll lose track of all barriers as you go with the flow and throw your heart and soul into your efforts. Your dedication will pay off in the long run, but even this isn't important. Your efforts are their own rewards. Doing what you love so well and so faithfully fulfills you. Your challenge is to resist the temptation to push yourself to exhaustion. Remain measured and steady, and don't overlook the importance of taking a day of rest at least once a week. Your master teacher is pleased with your progress, but reminds you that even though you may love your work and feel that you could work forever, your body and mind do get fatigued. Develop the wisdom to know when to step away and refresh your soul. Your master teacher's message: pace yourself. Pace yourself. So that's also a good lesson and a good reminder to myself as well, because it is a very common thing for us to, in our society, we reward overwork. We reward people pushing themselves to exhaustion. People share, I work a 40-hour week, I work a 50-hour week, I work 72 hours a week. We share those things like there's some kind of badge of honor. But they're working ourselves to exhaustion. And what kind of life are you living if all of your work, all of your time is spent exhausting yourself through work? This is saying do things that bring you happiness, but know when to stop. Know when to stop and enjoy what's actually happening around you in life. It's good advice. Stop and smell the roses, as it were. Literally sometimes. Stop and smell the roses. Stop and enjoy the beautiful scents created by nature. Yes, it's going to open the door to spirit. You might have been called to pile number 1 as well. Those cards both came up in pile number 1. So your guides are telling you to open yourself up to your spiritual guidance. Open yourself up to the guidance of your higher self. And let go of longing for what you don't have. When we sit ourselves in a space of what we don't have, that's where our energy goes. Where your energy goes is where energy flows. Where your thoughts go is where energy flows. So if you're focusing on what you don't have and telling yourself, I wish I had this. If only my life were like this, then I would be happy. But even people who are rich will tell you, it's not the money that brings you happiness. Sure, it relieves some of the stresses. And what we're looking for then in that point is not necessarily money per se. We're looking for a release of the stress and worry that comes along with not having. And when we see the envy card is a card of not having. wishing you had something else that you don't have now. The advice is always, when it comes to envy, to spend more time in focus of what you do want, of what your blessings are, of what you already have to be grateful for, of what is in your life now that is already beautiful, that you can enjoy and say, well, it's not when I have money, I'll be happy. When I have that job, I'll be happy. When I have that relationship, I'll be happy. When I have that car, I'll be happy. When I have those clothes, I'll be happy. When I have that bike, I'll be happy. When I have this, I'll be happy. Because that's not how happiness works. Happiness comes from the inside and then extends out. It's like the meme you see all the time of that little character holding a jar labeled happiness. And they said, where did you get that? I've been looking everywhere for that. And the person replies, I made it myself. Because that's where happiness comes from. You have to make it. You have to decide that you're happy. If everything else outside of you is what's dependent on you being happy, if what you're looking for is everything outside of you to be the thing that makes you happy, you're never going to be happy. Because you're always looking for something outside of you to make you happy. Happiness does not come from the outside. It comes from the inside. And when you are grateful for what you have, when you are grateful for what you already have achieved, of who you already are, of what you've already been through, when you are grateful, truly and genuinely grateful, it will reflect on your outside. And you'll suddenly find the life that you thought that you wish you had, you already have. You always had it. What is it they say that you hear all the time? The power was inside me all along. I didn't need it. What did they say in Wizard of Oz? It wasn't the shoes. The power to go home was inside you all along. And it's always that. A power was inside me all along. Of course it is. It's inside you. It's not from outside of you. It's from inside you. Your guides want you to know that that's where that comes from. You make your happiness. Yeah. That will put things in balance. You might be a twin flame. You might be on a twin flame path with Magician in the Mirror. But it's also talking about balance. There's a balance between the fire and the ice, right? You see this person, this healer in the center, and it's a balance of fire on one side and ice on the other. This is about creating balance in your life. If it's not a romantic relationship, if it's not a twin flame, this is about finding balance, again, with your purpose. And right now, you're unstable with the first chakra card in reverse. The first chakra, the root chakra, is all about stability. When that's in reverse, that's saying you are feeling unstable. You are feeling insecure. Okay? That comes from in you, right? Because there's a deal that's ending. There's a contract that's ending. You might have a soul contract that's ending, something that you agreed to. Yeah. Ooh. You are letting go of some stuff. Let me tell you, your second chakra card is blocked as well. So that's in reverse as well. So that's a blockage in your ability to be intimate with others and intimate with yourself. That's not knowing your inner knowing, right? It's feeling. Your sacral chakra is all about feeling. So you're not feeling things. And it's telling you lies with the deceit card upright. This is part of your soul contract that you're working through. This is part of your purpose, is letting go of the agreements that you were working on, the contracts that tell you that you have to be this certain person. Again, talking about walking your dharma. You are not currently walking your dharma. You are believing lies about who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to feel, and it's keeping you in a place of instability. It's making you feel like you're on the outside looking in with door to personal happiness and healing in the reverse position. It's making you feel like you are on the outside of the door and those doors are closed to you, that you won't be happy, that you won't be satisfied, that you're not going to find healing. It's keeping you in a place of being unhealed. And that's what you're working through. That's what your guides are helping you through. Because again, if you remember, the first card we got was Door to Spirit. How do you get out of this? By surrendering it, by letting your guides help you, by trusting that they are here for you, by being strong enough and courageous enough. Because let me tell you, surrendering, trusting the unknown, trusting that it's going to work out even when there's no evidence to show you, it's terrifying. You don't know. There's no proof. There's nothing that guarantees that when you land, it's going to be a safe landing. But that's why it's called a leap of faith, because you have to trust that when you jump, that you will land safely. If you knew for sure you were going to land safely, if you knew it because you could see it, it would not be a leap of faith. It would just be a leap. In order for it to be a leap of faith, there has to be trust involved. Trust that in the end, you will be okay. And I feel like you are being asked right now, with our deceit card, with truths coming out, with blockage to your I feel, blockage to your I am. Our sacral chakra is an I am. Our solar plexus chakra is an I feel for affirmations. So what are you saying when you're giving yourself affirmations? I am what? I feel what? You want to unblock them? Unblock them. I am safe is a good one to say for a blocked root chakra. I am safe. I am stable. I am safe. I am secure. I am safe. I am. For your solar plexus, for your sacral chakra, why do I keep saying solar plexus? So I feel like that's one you should look at. For your sacral chakra, it's I feel. If you're saying I feel afraid, I feel worried, like we see with our envy, I feel like I don't have, I feel like I want to have, I wish I don't have. I feel secure. I feel happy. I feel content. I feel like I can trust the universe. I feel like I can trust my spiritual team. They're guiding you on your path right now. Any further advice for our pal number 2s who are walking their purpose and their path, learning their dharma? Oh, yes. Yep. Integration beyond illusion. Absolutely. You are going through a spiritual awakening, my friend. You got beyond illusion. Now, see that beautiful butterfly, right? You see that metamorphosis, that transition, that changing. You are changing. You are moving beyond the illusions, beyond the deceits, beyond the envy, right? Beyond the lies that have been shown to you. You are moving beyond the illusions to see what is true, and you are integrating all levels. This is the temperance card. We see the yin yang in balance. This is another card of balance, just like our magician in the mirror card, right? This is balance. We've got the fire and we've got the ice. We've got the flying and swimming. We've got the prism above that is broken up into the light spectrum, because what is the light spectrum? White light is made up of multiple colors. That's where rainbows come from. It's the separation of the white light into the separate light waves that create the different colors that we see. And here we see that prism and the light becoming rainbow. We see at the bottom the snake that eats its own tail, that in Norse mythology symbolizes endings and beginnings, all the same. That semisonic song, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, right? You are moving through right now through a spiritual awakening. You are seeing beyond the veil. You are seeing beyond the illusions that have been shown to you, and you are integrating and finding a balance, and that is beautiful. But I will tell you, and everybody has said it, and my friends have said it, and I keep hearing this statement, so I'm going to say it out loud to you. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off, because you are the things that you did not want to see. You're going to have to see them, and you're going to have to see how other people treated you. You're going to have to see how you treated other people. And you're going to have to let it go with the 8 of Cups, letting go. You're going to have to see what it is, and then you're going to have to let it go. And that's the advice your guides want to give you. And it will end your heartbreak with the 3 of Swords in reverse. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Allow yourself to feel what you need to do. Allow yourself to move through your feelings, and know that as you integrate, as you move beyond the illusions, as you begin to see what your path is and where your path is going to take you and live your true proper dharma, you will accumulate positive karma, and you will let go of the heartbreak, because the heartbreak is connected to you strictly through a collection of bad karma, not walking your path, right? Not walking your path of who you're supposed to be. So I think that's the messages for you. Or you know what? Let's pull something. No, I was going to say Light Seers Tarot, but I feel called to the Angel Oracle deck. Okay. One piece of advice for our pile number 2s, please. Thank you. The Divine Physician, Angel Raphael. Thank you, Raphael, for shining your divine light upon my healthy body. So maybe there's something that you have where you're dealing with health problems, but allow Source to shine its light on you. Allow divinity to take this for you. Allow your angels, again, your purpose. Maybe you are a physician. Maybe you are a healer. Maybe you are in the healing field. So many of people in the healing field have been wounded themselves on the path of Chiron, right? The symbol of the caduceus, I believe, comes, or the healing staff comes from Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. The wounded healer is always the one that comes to the sake of healing, because they have been in that pain. The healers are always those who have felt the sadness, the pain, the despair, all of those awful things. And they have been through the fire. They have been through the trials. And they are also helping other people because they know how much it sucks. They know how awful it feels. And because they know how awful it feels, they don't want other people to feel those things. They don't want other people to go through the things that they had. So they move into the direction of healing. So many healers have been the wounded healers. But as with Chiron, as with Raphael, the divine physician, look at the symbol, right? The caduceus. As with Raphael, as with our angels, as with the wounded healer Chiron, in order for you to move forward, you have to heal. You cannot be the healer that still holds that pain, because that pain is going to influence the choices that you make. You have to let go of your pain so you can move forward and heal others with your knowing and help others find their way too. So pile number 2, I hope this helped you. I hope that your inner guides have given you advice that can help you move forward on your path and know where you should be moving and what direction to do. If you want more personal information about your specific path, about what's happening on your Dharma, if you want more information, more guidance, maybe you want more information on what your path is, maybe you want more information about what your guides want, any of that stuff, you can book a personal reading with me, and all that information is in the description box below the video. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm so other people who need to see it can find it, show up on their news feed if there's a message there for them. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If something did resonate with you, drop a comment. I would love to hear if anything really resonated strongly with you. And if you feel moved to do so, you can always leave a donation. All of that, those love donations really help out. That information is in the description box as well. I am on social media. You can find that information in the description box, and you can check out my podcasts on helping you move forward on your path and healing through some of the things that come up. I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere you find your podcasts. So until next time, fellow humans, keep dropping those things that are holding you back from being your best, most authentic you. And until next time, love and light. Hi, pile number 3s. If you chose the card of shame and the Selenite, this is for you. Now, one of the things about selenite is one of my newest favorite stones that I really enjoy. And selenite is a stone that is designed to be a cleansing stone. It is a stone that clears the energy of other stones. So if you're looking to clear out maybe a stone that you had that you were wearing around, some with negative energy, that would be a way to clear it. It's also a great way to clear your cards, which is why I keep a nice large one with all my cards to clear the energy of my cards. So there might be something with this plus shame. I'm willing to bet that you have some shame that you need to have cleared from you. So let's take a look at our card, okay? So the first thing I'm noticing here is we've got this person standing here. Obviously their head is in their hands. There's these people standing around them. And look at these people, look like they're walking away. Right? and there's a spotlight on this person. They feel like they're being spotlighted and seen very strongly in a deep shade of shame. But you see these hearts around them, and the hearts are being carried by these figures offering love and connection, right? So if you've chosen this pile, I am willing to bet that you have had a difficult life. You've had a difficult life where people have made you feel bad for being who you are, for being just yourself. And with shame, often what happens, if Brene Brown likes to call them the shame goblins, or the shame gremlins. And she talks about the feeling of what it feels like when we experience shame and deep shame. And we try to run from it. We try to hide from it. We try to avoid it. This is where we deflect. This is where we turn it on someone else and make it their thing because we're embarrassed. We feel shame. We don't want to experience shame. So we try to avoid feeling it. But as with all feelings, shame needs to be felt to be released. But it also needs to be, you can't necessarily rationalize it in the moment, but once you've felt through the feeling, you can remind yourself that anyone who's judging is judging you because they're looking at things through their own lens. Everybody looks at life through their own lens, through their own information, their own lens of what they know or what they were taught or who told them what or whatever. Everybody's looking at life through their lens. And they're making judgments on you based on their lexicon of knowledge about what should be and what shouldn't be. But I'm going to give you a little secret here. Nobody knows what the F they're doing. Okay? Everybody's following these rules that they were told by someone else and saying this is the way it's supposed to be. But who said that? Who told you that? Who said it's supposed to be like that? And who's making you feel ashamed for just being the way that you are? Who's doing that? Right? Is it you? Are you the one shaming yourself? Let's read from the guidebook and see what the guidebook has to say on this card of shame and what your divine healers want you to know. You are at risk of falling under the spell of self-criticism because of poor choices or learned behavior, and this is bringing on the energy of shame. You can always tell when this soul-deadening vibration is present because it causes you to unconsciously pull back from others and the loving support of the universe and become isolated. It's quite possible at this time to believe that the world is against you, making you want to hide, withdraw, or push it away. Nothing could be further from the truth. You are your own worst enemy at this time, as the universe never stops loving or supporting you. Nor have the people around you stopped loving you, even if you've made terrible mistakes. After all, we're all guilty of this at some times. Your divine healers surround you, holding you in affection and unconditional love as you struggle to regain your self-esteem. They ask you to remember that being here on earth is like being in a classroom. You're here to progress, and you'll make many mistakes along the way. That's part of your learning process and necessary for your growth. Your divine healers ask that you open your heart and forgive your mistakes. There's no mistake too great, nor any error so grave that it can't be forgiven. Pray for them to help you rise above your self-criticism and re-enter the flow of the universe. Make an effort to see yourself with the same love that they see you with. Stop judging yourself. Make amends and apologies where necessary and move on. Their message to you? Live and learn. Aw, that's making me feel a little choked up, and I feel like that's part of a message for me too. Learning to let go when we mess up and not focus on our shame, knowing that we make mistakes and apologizing where necessary and then letting it go. And moving on and knowing that everyone makes mistakes at some point or another and giving that same kindness to others. Everyone makes mistakes at some point or another. Forgive yourself, forgive others. What a beautiful message from your guides already. So let's see what else they want to share. We're going to use the Energy Oracle deck to get a base, and then we're going to get some further information. Guides, angels, ancestors of pile 3, inner guides, spiritual team. What do they need to hear right now, please? Oh, that was upright. Okay. So they are saying that there is beautiful abundance. Look at these 2 cards. Okay. Look at with blossoming abundance. Okay. And then the garden and the gate. Look at these gardens, guys. Look at the beautiful gardens. Look at the beautiful nature. Right? So that's interesting. All 3s. 3, 30, 39. Which is 3, and then 3 times is 9. 3, 3, 3. Ooh, that's 333, 333. That might be a special number for you. If 333 is a number for you, 333, 333. Okay, 3s might be a thing for you. This is saying with blossoming abundance in the garden and the gate that you feel like you are on the outside of having the beautiful life that you want. Yeah, this one, it came out upright, and then I put it down reverse, and I thought that it should have been out upright, but I just heard turn it over. So that's what they meant. They meant it for that to be that way. So your inner guides are saying there is beautiful abundance waiting for you, but you're standing on the other side of the gate and you're not letting yourself get through. You're telling yourself that there's no way that you could be in that garden, and it's blocking your ability to tell your truth. And they're saying that you just need to be patient. You're getting impatient with the patience card in the halfway position. You're having difficulty with being patient, and it's making you feel lonely with the community card in reverse. But it's saying that the storms are over. The difficult times are over with storm warning in reverse. The difficult times are over. And you're just you're unable to feel it yet. So because you're not seeing it in a 3D world, and because you don't feel it, and you're not seeing it, right? With the second chakra in reverse and the man holding a coin in reverse. Man holding a coin is opportunities coming to you in a 3D. That's not going to come to you in a 3D as long as you don't believe that it can, as long as you're telling yourself that it can't. With the second chakra, that's your sacral chakra. That's your feel. I feel. From the inside, as within, so without, right? So if you feel on the inside that you're not going to get it, if you feel on the inside that you're not, these opportunities that you're on the outside, that you're on the other side of the gate, if you feel that, then that's what's going to show up in your life. That's what you're going to see. As within, so without. So in order to do that, you have to know. With the third chakra, with the solar plexus says, I know. I know. It's your gut knowing. It's your sense of self-confidence. I know. And if you can trust your knowing, if you can trust that you know that you are, that abundance is there for you, that you know you can get past that, if you trust your intuitive feeling that you know that, and you trust in who you are and your confidence in yourself, this will turn this around. This will make what happens on the inside become part of your outside, right? It will bring you that community that you'd like to have, where you're feeling lonely and you're feeling on your own, right? It'll release the storms. It'll release the difficulties that you're having. But to do that, you have to build your knowing, your sense of self. Okay, you need to trust in who you are. And that'll open the door to your happiness, with the door to personal healing and happiness in the reverse position. Your door is closed right now because you're waiting for someone to give you love and validation, because that was part of your soul contract coming here. Love was conditional, and it kept you all tied up and feeling insecure. but trust in spirit, trust in source, trust in divinity, trust in your higher self. And when you do trust in your higher self and your spiritual team, you will find that happy family. You will find that happy outcome that you want to have. But in order to do that, you have to let go of the shame. You have to let go of who you think you're supposed to be. This was a part of your soul's contract of why you came here. This is why you came here, to learn to move through this, to learn what unconditional love is, what unconditional love for yourself is, what it means to love yourself even if you mess up, what it means to love yourself even when you don't do the things that other people told you that you should, to love yourself even when other people are not demonstrating love to you, knowing that you are worthy of love, knowing that you are worthy of all of the blessings that are meant for you, knowing that you are worthy of being loved unconditionally. Unconditionally means without condition, meaning there is nothing that you could ever do that would make me love you less. Right? Source and divinity always loves us, whatever you want to call it. Okay, call it the force, call it the source, call it creator, call it God, call it whatever it is that makes you happy, whatever word resonates for you. It makes no difference. That energy loves you even when you fuck up. Okay? That energy loves you no matter what you do. You could be your worst you, and they still love you. That's unconditional love. Now, do you love you? When you are your worst you, when you are the worst version of you, when you have everything, you snapped, you've blown up, you've hurt people, and now you feel like a bag of crap, and your shame gremlins are starting to get the best of you. Do you love you? If you don't love you, how is that? We talked about that, as within, so without. So if you don't love you, how is someone else going to love you? Now, that's not to make you feel like you don't deserve love, because absolutely you deserve love. But the point is, if you don't know what unconditional love is, to give yourself unconditional love, how in the world are you going to love someone else unconditionally? There's going to be conditions, because you have conditions. You aren't willing to love yourself even when you mess up. You expect that there are certain situations in which you won't love yourself. So the answer is to begin to love yourself unconditionally, even when you feel shame, even when you feel unstable, even when you feel lonely. Because loving yourself unconditionally, the way that Source loves you, the way that Spirit loves you, when you love yourself that way, nothing anyone can say will ever bring you shame. Why? Because you have forgiveness for yourself when you fuck up. And you're gonna. It's part of being human. You're gonna fuck up. Everybody does. That's just part of life. But being able to forgive yourself, when you forgive yourself, it is so much easier to have that same forgiveness for others. When you are willing to look at the mistakes you've made and say, I forgive myself for making choices when I was in pain. I forgive myself for the pain I caused others when I made choices while I was in survival mode. Because make no mistake, when you are in a state of fight or flight, when you are in a high stress, when you are chronically stressed out, you are in survival mode. The thing you are most worried about is surviving, of living, of making it another day, of making it another month, of just getting the bills paid. That is survival mode, people. That is survival mode. If you are in survival mode, you are not making decisions that are on the best interest. You are making decisions in the moment just to get through, just to make it one more day, because that's how you survive. When you move out of survival mode, when you begin to move out of fight or flight, when you begin to regulate your nervous system, when you begin to find yourself in a space of calm, you begin to hear your intuition better. You begin to hear your inner knowing better. You begin to have a better space of love for yourself, forgiveness for yourself, acceptance for yourself. And when you can find those things for yourself, it's so much easier to give it to others and to accept them for who they are and to love them unconditionally even when they fuck up, because you know that you love yourself even when you fuck up. So you're willing to give that same to another because you know that they're human just like you. Okay. I do have some episodes on my podcast about that. I've talked about that a little more extensively. So if that's something that is sending up flags for you that you want to know more of, check that out. Follow the link from my page to my playlists, and you can see all the different topics and see what resonates with you. Okay, so we got any messages for our pile number 3s, please? Okay, this came out as a collection, so it's going to be meant to be read together. Okay. So we got the Fool upright, Temperance upright, High Priestess upright, the Devil in reverse, and Strength in reverse. So when we put the statements together, what they mean is there is a new beginning that's available to you, a new start that's available to you, that once you integrate all that you are, once you put all your parts together and find balance and trust in your intuition, the High Priestess's intuition, trusting in your intuition, it will better allow you to let go of being the person that you think you're supposed to be and become the person you're meant to be. It'll better help you handle letting go of your shadow aspects of who you are and to find more compassion for yourself, because right now, the way that it is with the Devil in reverse and the Strength in reverse, the Devil is about your darker aspects of letting your dark side control you. Right here, we got this guy who looks seriously miserable. He's holding his head. He looks miserable, and there's strings attached to him, and they're attached to the hand of the devil, meaning the devil is pulling the strings on you, right? And in this card, you know, we don't look at it from the perspective of the Christian devil, because there's no absolute evil. There's no absolute good. That's a bunch of bullshit. Okay. We are humans. Everybody has a mix of everything. You are a beautiful blend of good and bad. It's free will is a thing. Okay. The Devil in reverse, in other decks, it talks about the devil is your shadow, right? Your lower parts of yourself, the lower vibrational parts of yourself that oftentimes we don't look at. The problem with toxic positivity is that we pretend that our dark self, our shadow self doesn't exist. But you are an intricate balance between shadow and light. And the thing is, when we integrate all of our parts, right? When we bring in, did we have that in here? I thought we had that in there. Maybe not. I think that was in pile number 2. So you might have been called to that too. When we integrate all of our parts together, we become a whole. We become the housing for all of our various parts, including our lesser shadow parts, our parts of ourselves that carry shame, right? That's our first card with shame. The devil is about the parts of you that you have deemed unworthy, the parts of you that you have decided that nobody would love. But those parts are you. If you want, as we said before, with integration, angel of love, with unconditional love, do you love your parts? The parts of you that you feel are undesirable, the parts of you that you feel are shameful, do you love them? As we said before, if you don't love you, how do you expect, if you don't love you unconditionally, how do you expect someone else to love you unconditionally? How do you expect to love anyone else unconditionally? You don't know what that looks like. Are there parts of you that you don't love? Parts of you that you make feel shame? Is it shame? Is there a part of you that was shamed and you've decided is unworthy and unlovable because somebody else told you was unworthy and unlovable? Have you internalized that message somewhere in there where you believe there are parts of you that make you weak? With the Strength card in reverse, are there parts of you that you hide because you're afraid that it would make you look weak? Because some asshole, and I don't even care, not even gonna say pardon my French, some asshole somewhere in your life told you that being your genuine self was weakness. being your true self was weakness. Absolutely, they were an asshole. Because you are not a weakness. You are not shameful. You're a person working their way through life and difficult things and trying to figure out how to get through this world. There are no parts of you that should be shameful. There are no parts of you that should be hidden away and stuffed away in the darkness, never to see the light. Because all parts of you are beautiful. And as we see in the beginning, that's right, we've got temperance here that's integrating, right? So we've got integrating your shadow, integrating your darker parts, integrating who you are, and trusting in your own intuitive guidance, trusting that you, all these parts of you, are what make you awesome. And that, my dear friends, is what's going to give you your new start with the Fool. Because the Fool is taking a leap of faith and a new start. Look at the Fool, okay? Have a look at it. She's hanging off the side of the cliff. She's about to fall. She's not looking. It's a trust fall. Oh, I just heard Pink's trust fall. It's a trust fall, baby. Maybe you might be feeling called to check out Pink's new album, Trust Fall, or that new song. But she looks like she's doing a trust fall, right? And she's falling into the lake, into the water with our sacred geometry there, the flower of life. And she's falling. And she's not worried she's going to get hurt. She's not worried because she trusts the universe. She trusts she will be caught when she jumps. You again might have been called to pile number 2 with a leap of faith. A leap of faith is not, if you know where you're going to fall, if you know where you're going to land, it's not, there's no faith component to the leap. It's just a leap. A leap of faith is a trust fall. It's trusting that when you jump, you will be caught. Trusting that the new thing that you're going to be getting into is absolutely worth it. So your guides right now are telling you, just trust them. It's time to do your shadow work. It's time to let go of the parts of you that you aren't willing to admit are there, that you hide away from, that you tell are unworthy. Okay? Let them be part of you. This one jumped out, so it needs to be heard. Yep, take things moment to moment. 2 of Pentacles. It's taking things one day at a time, one moment at a time. In yoga, we often talk about taking things one pose, one breath at a time. So when you're in a yoga pose, you're not thinking about when the next pose is going to be called, when you're going to move out of it. You're surrendering to the pose. You're surrendering to the sensations. You're surrendering to the stretch. You're not holding it. You're not tensing it. You're not trying to wait. When are we going to move? When are we going to shift? When are we going to go? You're taking it moment by moment, stretch by stretch, pose by pose, breath by breath. Every moment, take it one step at a time. You cannot jump to the end. Your journey is not about getting to the end. Your journey is about what you learn along the journey, what you learn along the way. That's how you get all the skills you need. So when you get to the end, you have everything that you needed. Now, when you get to the end, it's great you got to the end, but it's everything that happened in between the beginning and the end that makes the most difference. Take it moment by moment. Yeah, you got a lot of good stuff here. Yeah. High Priestess again. You are meant to be checking in with your intuition. You got it again with inner voice. And it's beautiful. You're being told if you take things moment to moment and you trust in your inner knowing, it's going to cause a breakthrough. It's going to cause things to change for you, and it's going to cause you to find your community, to find your people with the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is participation in this deck, and it's having your connections with others. It's and on the bottom of the deck, we have go with the flow with the King of Cups. Go with the flow. Or sorry, the Ace of Cups. Go with the flow, okay? Stop trying to control how things are going to go. Stop trying to control how life is going to happen. Let go of your attachment to how it's going to happen and enjoy the journey, because as you connect with your intuitive self, as you connect with your inner knowing, as you connect with your higher self, your greater self, as you become more of your greater self, it's going to open life up for you. I mean, look at this breakthrough card. This is the Justice in the traditional deck. This is getting the karmic scales balanced. This is getting what is owed to you because of the work that you've done. This is getting everything balanced out and breaking you out of the old patterns, bursting you through into this new life, this new existence, and this new connection, this new bond in life. But go with the flow. Trust, again, trust that your intuitive, that your spiritual team, your guides are showing you the right way. Trust the guidance. Take it one step at a time, one moment at a time, one lesson at a time. And before you know it, when you look back, you'll go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how far I've come in such a short time. Because it's not about how fast or slow you go. It's about how the lessons are learned. Because if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to come back around again for you to see until you understand it and you integrate it and you learn it. It's going to keep coming back around in your sphere of influence. So the speed at which you move on your path is essentially the speed at which you let go of the things that are holding you back, like sandbags, right? And that's individual for each lesson. And it's individual for each situation. And some lessons require further information because they require further training because it's a greater lesson. It's a deep ingrained thing. It's a shame that's deeply ingrained in there and it's going to take time to come out. So trust in the process. If you're having difficulty understanding how trust the process works, I did release a new podcast episode regarding trusting the process and what that means. So if you don't know what that means and you need a little more help, check that out. Okay. So if you liked this reading and you want to book a personal reading to get a little more in-depth into your personal situation, what's going on with you, what's going on with these shame things that you might be experiencing, how to move through them, how to move through your shadow work, how to trust your intuition, all that stuff, you can find that information in the description box to book a personal tarot reading if you are looking for guidance on your spiritual path and moving forward through this stuff. You can email me and we can set up some guidance on that. If you liked this reading, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm and it helps more people see it and hear the message they might need to hear. If any of it resonated with you, I would love to hear something in the comments to see who's connecting with it. Which pile did you pick and does it connect with you? Check that out in the description or in the comments. Drop a comment for me. If you would like to donate and this touched you enough that you would like to leave a love donation, I always accept that, tips and donations, though that information is in the description box as well. If you'd like to follow me on social media and see the different updates that I give all the time, all that information is in the description box. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, yes, the podcast. If you are interested in that, I'm available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all podcast platforms to help guide you through your healing path on things I've experienced on my healing path, and I share what I've learned with you so that you can learn how to move forward. And just like we say on this channel all the time, helping you move forward and let go of the baggage that is holding you back from being your greatest, your best, your most authentic self. So until next time, fellow humans, love and light.